Kids and screen time is top of mind for a lot of parents, and it's a topic and a challenge that isn't going away. From the mom who's got it all figured out to the parent who wants to give kids a little more freedom, Deseret News columnist Amy Iverson has advice to meet you where you're at. Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
She's
Such an important topic.
Yeah, this is really important. First, complimenting you on the slide from guest host to contributor. You do such a great job. Thanks for filling in for me yesterday.
Do whatever you ask.
You're
girl.
wonderful. So this topic, it is important. I'm so glad you underscored that. I'm also curious to know, it's not a new topic, right? We've been wrestling with this now for a long time, kids and screen time. Has your opinion or have your recommendations changed at all over the years? Do we need to update our approach in any way?
I have, for sure, just because companies are making it so much easier for parents to have a lot of control
Yeah.
over what their kids use on their phone. And I hear a lot of people talking right now about just banning phones or banning social media altogether. I'm just letting you know there are options out there to make the job of keeping your kids safe online easier.
Okay, good. Apple and Android come with built-in screen time guides. You also can purchase, though, more comprehensive monitoring apps. Do you recommend that investment?
Well, Apple's is very much more robust than those for Android phones. So maybe an Android user might want to do that for their kids. Or, if your child is someone who is potentially participating in some dangerous behavior and you want to get really like you're monitoring every single text and you're controlling social media, that's when you would want to go for those more paid for plans.
Parents have differing opinions on how involved to be, right, with our kids and their screen time habits. You've got some tips that are applicable to everyone?
Yeah, so I'm just going to talk about the two free ones for Android and iPhones today that really can cover most things that I think parents are worried about.
Okay, let's jump in. Which one first?
Okay, so first for Apple, we're talking about screen time. Now, for Apple or Android phones, you're going to need to sign up for either family sharing or family link just to be able to control your kids' phones. So when you get into screen time with Apple, you can see right there how much time your kid has spent and where they're spending that time. Like what apps are they on? When are they on them? And then you can scroll down for a shocking number, even for us, to see how many times people are picking up their phone and why. Like what is the first app that they're going to when they pick it up?
Oh, that's juicy. That's detailed.
Yeah, and what we're looking at right here is downtime. Downtime's the first thing you can do with screen time, and this is when you can shut the phones down. You set timers for those, except for those apps that you allow. Now, a child can ask for more time. You'll need a passcode for this, but think bedtime. Think if you want to turn it off for homework, school, all those times you just want their phone to turn off.
Okay, app limits, another category that you can filter.
Yeah, app limits is when you set time limits on a specific app or a category of app. So you can say, okay, I only want my kid to be on social media for an hour a day. You can decide and set that, or I only want them to be able to do gaming for a certain amount of time a day. That's what app limits is.
Okay.
And then communication limits is where you can say, okay, I'm going to have these down times, but I always want my child to be able to contact me, mom and dad, say. So my child has downtime at night, but is always able to contact me or my husband. And maybe you want to set it up for, a sibling or something like that.
Sure. What's communication safety?
This is a newer one. I've mentioned on the show before, but I love this idea. So messages can now detect photos that might have nudity in them. So this isn't like your child is just going to open up a text and be shocked at something. So messages can detect photos that might have nudity, and before someone sends one or views one, the app is going to blur that photo and display a little warning. So it's going to say, hey, this might be sensitive. Do you want to leave this conversation? Do you want to block the contact? Do you want to look at other resources? If the child still says they want to look at it, the next screen says, it's your choice. Make sure you feel safe. And then they can decide not to view it if they want to message a grown-up or view the image. Now, so that means, yes, they do have the choice to view it, but at least there is that warning, so they're just not surprised.
Yeah.
If a child under 13 does decide they still want to look at it, a parent can get a notification about that, but not if they're older 13.
Interesting. I saw a filtration option for always allowed. What does that entail?
So always allowed means there can be certain apps that will always be available even during downtime. So since mom and dad are only allowed for contacts, then you can still have phone, text, FaceTime. For my son, I let him still have reading apps, music, and weather at night because those are things I feel like, okay, if he's
Sure.
just going to read, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And then content and privacy restrictions is the next one. And I think that's the one a lot of parents worry about. This is where you can block inappropriate content from iTunes, set, PG-13 or whatever. And then where you go in and limit adult websites, which is the one I think parents are very worried about.
Sure.
You can also block explicit language from Siri and make some privacy decisions with gaming.
Let's touch on Google's Family Link for the Android phones. I've got about 30 seconds. You say there are many new features. Could you share a few that might be helpful to parents watching?
So Family Link is similar to what I've been talking about, but much more basic. So yes, you can go on, you can have your child approve or block apps. You can set those time limits and bedtimes, and you can set internet restrictions, but no, they will only work on Google Chrome. So you can't
Mm.
let your kid download a different browser. And then also with Family Link, kids over the age of 13 can turn it off. They can make that decision, but you will get notified and their phone will turn off temporarily. And finally, Brooke, like I always say, I mean, we need kids to buy into this. So don't make this dictatorial. Have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
They need to buy in so it's not just a constant fight. And once you set these filters, it's not like a set it and forget it thing. You have to still constantly have those conversations and still do a little monitoring too, but this makes it so much easier.
Well, I appreciate you walking us through it. And to that point, I do like these little flags for even the kids to notice it. I mean, I think it just pings their brain, like it catches them, right? And it's so much of social media and phone use is mindless, but I think if we're engaging our mind through those little gatekeeps, I think that's really helpful. I know this is a topic you're jumping into in your column this week and also all month. How can we read more?
Yes, so I'm going to do this. We'll tackle gaming, social media as the weeks go on. And this is all at Deseret.com/Amy for that step-by-step guide that I think a lot of parents need.
Yes, we'll meet you there. Amy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Brooke.